Pleasant good afternoon and welcome to Foca News Summary, bringing you 15 minutes of the top stories, sharp and straight to the point. I am Priscilla George, anchoring today's presentation, and here's what's making headlines across Liberia and around the world. Nobel Peace Laureate Blas Wia and Bouaga for poor leadership describes Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration as remarkably effective. Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala declares strong support for Bouaga's government, says it is based on Lofa solidarity. Government of Liberia announces the suspension of national ID card enforcement linked the relaxation to administrative reasons and away from home. Fresh tensions undermine ceasefire in Iran-Israel conflict. These and many more are all packaged. We'll take a short break. Coming up next, our news bulletin. Welcome back. Nobel Peace Laureate Lema Bowie has admitted to her past criticisms of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf were wrong, asserting that her leadership was remarkably effective. In a front page Africa interview, Bowie described Sirleaf's administration as empathetically better than those of George Weah and Joseph Boaga, under whom she says governance and public service have significantly declined. She condemned ongoing corruption, highlighting lavish lifestyles of lawmakers while schools lack chairs. Bowie lauded the maternal programs on Sirleaf, especially at JFK Hospital, stating that the initiative supported teen mothers, improved women's health services despite ongoing national challenges. She argued that greed has deepened under Weah and Bouaga insisted greed and has now become a systemic problem, something she describes as heartbreaking and unacceptable. Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala has openly declared support for the Bouagaco administration months following his expulsion from the opposition Congress of Democratic Change. It can be recalled on December 11, 2024, the Congress of Democratic Change expelled Deputy Speaker Fala following recommendations from the party National Disciplinary Committee. But speaking to his constituents recently, Fala voiced strong support for the Bouaga's government, asserting that is based on Lofa solidarity. The expelled CDC executive clarified that while he is not a partisan of the Unity Party, his support for the president agenda is deeply rooted in Lofa unity and development. In a related development, Chairman of Liberia People Democratic Party Moses Colley has endorsed the Bouaga's administration barely a few hours after Deputy Thomas Fala announced support for the regime. Colley asserted that his support for the Bouaga government is rooted in Lofa progress aimed at ensuring that President Joseph Bouaga administration succeed. The Central Bank of Liberia and the National Identification Registry have suspended the enforcement of national ID card for banking transactions, citing administrative reasons. According to a release, commercial banks are mandated to relax the enforcement and act in compliance with this directive. Meanwhile, the institutions have announced the immediate suspension pending a resumption of mass enrollment. The National Commission on Higher Education has announced with immediate effect the suspension of 22 high learning institutions, citing non-compliance with national education standards. Speaking at MICAT Tuesday press briefing, the commission mandated the suspended institutions to halt all academic activities pending compliance with the standards and regulations. The suspension spotlights the names of notable higher learning institutions, including Cypress University, Pre- Prevailing Word, U- Prevailing Word University, Paschal College, among others. Authorities added that the closure of these institutions preserved the integrity of Liberia's higher education system. Meanwhile, the commission named Mertu Institute, Gonet Academy, and Professional Journalism School. of Liberia for reportedly operating illegally in the country. In a related development, the National Commission on Higher Education has issued a 1 year ultimatum accredited institutions, urging institutions to meet academic and operational requirements or risk being closed. Authorities named the University of Liberia, Cottington University, Bond County Technical College, among others. The Commission noted that the move is a part of a broader commitment to initiating reform and ensuring compliance. Former Liberian President George Weah has extended warm congratulations to President Julius Maada Bio on his election as ECOWAS chairman. In a Facebook post, the former Liberian leader highlighted the significant political and security challenges, citing the departure of other member states. We are expressed deep confidence in Bio's ability to guide the regional bloc with experience and diplomacy, highlighting the importance of unity and cooperation amid shifting global dynamics. Representative Muhammad Bridge Mensah has extended appreciation to President Joseph Boakai for what she termed as listening to the cries of the Liberian people. Representative Mensah emphasized that the national ID card restriction heavily impacted the people in the rural communities, thus denying them access to salaries and other basic services. The Bone County District 6 lawmaker added the President Boakai's decision mirrors the heartbeat of the government. Her assertion comes barely a few hours after authorities announced the relaxation of the directive, citing administrative reasons. The president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lily Mamparin, has donated US 10,000 to West Point Women for Health and Development organization. The move is aimed at fostering gender equality and advancing women's rights in Liberia. The donation held in West Point stemmed from a one-time legacy grant sourced from the Global Fund for Women, where Dr. Malparian once served as board chair. The donation presented Monday in West Point stems from a one-time legacy grant from the Global Fund for Women, where Dr. Malparian once served as board chair. She praised the organization over 20 years of grassroots leadership, calling her work vital to women's empowerment in Liberia's largest informal settlement. President Malparan announced a new office for gender equality and women's empowerment at the University of Liberia, seeking to expand support across the Liberian communities. Receiving the donation, Cuba hailed the grant as heaven sent, which according to her comes amid funding setbacks. If you are just joining us, welcome to Foca News Summary, and here is a quick look at our headlines so far. Nobel Peace Laureate blasts Weah and Boakai for poor leadership, describes Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration as remarkably effective. Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala declares strong support for Boakai's government, says it is based on local solidarity. Government of Liberia announces the suspension of national ID card enforcement, linked the relaxation to administrative reasons, and away from home, fresh tensions on a mass ceasefire in Iran-Israel conflict. Stay tuned. We'll take a short break. Coming up next is the continuation of our news bulletin. Welcome back. Former House Speaker Councillor Fonati Kofa and three other lawmakers linked to the Capitol building arson saga rigs being rearrested following a new directive from the Monrovia City Court. The court has ordered the defendants to justify their bond sureties no later than Tuesday, June 24, or risk rearrest. The mandate came during a bond hearing on Monday after state prosecutors raised objections, arguing that the bonds posted by the accused must be verified for validity and sufficiency. Presiding Magistrate Ben Barco upheld the prosecution's request, warning that failure to justify the bonds could lead to its cancellation and the immediate rearrest of all defendants. Meanwhile, defense lawyers pushed back, calling the prosecution's demand an overreach of the court's jurisdiction and urged Magistrate Barker to dismiss the objection altogether. As of now, the court is holding firm on its demand, setting the stage for a potentially high-stakes bond justification hearing on Tuesday. Hussein Fadika, the self-proclaimed social commentator at the center of a high-profile labor lawsuit, has been released from custody following a court directive issued on Monday, June 20, 2025. According to an official release order signed by Assistant Clerk of Court Randolph Snare, the Monrovia Central Prison was commanded to release Mr. Fadika, who had been detained earlier the same day. His detention followed enforcement of a civil judgment in which the court ordered him and his brother Hassan Fadika to pay over 1.6 million US dollars in damages to former LDEA Director Colonel Abraham Kroma for what the court ruled as labor and defamation. While the reason for his immediate release has not been disclosed publicly, legal observers suggest it may be due to ongoing compliance negotiations, bond adjustments, or a procedure fulfillment tied to a contempt charge also hanging over the defendants. The release the release order emphasized that the document itself constitutes sufficient legal authority and instructed the sheriff in pressing authorities to act without delay. As this case continues to unfold, the Fadiga brothers remain under legal scrutiny, with the court maintaining its demand for full certification of its earlier judgment. Africa CDC and ECOWAS reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening public health systems during a 3-day regional workshop held in Monrovia, Liberia. The workshop gathered delegates from all ECOWAS countries to enhance risk communication and community engagement, a key aspect of health emergency preparedness. Participants developed an action plan, agreed to share knowledge, and proposed a technical working group focused on impacts to support vulnerable countries in the sub-region. Speaking at the occasion, Enfield Director Dr. Dr. Chris Yan emphasized Liberia's commitment to RCCE and welcomed the opportunity to host the regional health event. The workshop concluded with renewed collaboration and a vision for community-centered health responses across West Africa to better address future threats. The House of Representatives has summoned acting LEC Managing Director Mohammed Sharif to appeal on June 30, 2025 for a contempt hearing following his alleged refusal to honor a prior invitation. This move, initiated by Fode Fambule, reinforces the House stance on accountability. Meanwhile, Representative Isaac Cholople who petitioned the House over a prolonged power outage in Riverview County, urging LEC to provide a clear explanation and restoration plan. Montserrat County Senator Ibrahim Darius Dillon has strongly dismissed allegations implicating him of engaging in political witch hunt against Labour Minister Cooper Kra. Senator Dillon stands accused of engaging in a plot against Minister Kra. However, Dillon refuted the claim, asserting that his advocacy is rooted in constitutional oversight and it is not on tribal sentiment. He vowed to push Labour Minister to ensure jobs meant for qualified Liberians are not given to foreigners through work permits. President Julius Maada Bio has been elected as new chairperson of the regional body, bringing a successful end to Bola Ahmed Tinubu leadership. The Sierra Leonean leader election as head of ECOWAS comes following a decision endorsed at the 77th ordinary session occasioned in Abuja, Nigeria. President Bio's ascendancy marks first time in the 50 years history as that Sierra Leonean leader has been appointed in the sub-region to the highest leadership position. His election to the highest decision-making body of the regional bloc comes at the time when the West African region faces reported threats of instability. Meanwhile, President Joseph Boakai has extended heartfelt appreciation to President Biya on his election. And away from home, a fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel was declared earlier today but quickly unraveled amid renewed missile exchanges and conflicting claims from both sides. At 6:08 BST, Donald Trump announced the ceasefire via social media. Iran signaled it would stop attacking if Israel did the same. Israel accepted the US brokered proposal but soon reported missile launches from Iran, which the Israeli military said were intercepted over northern Israel. Iran denied firing any missiles, yet the IDF vowed a strong response, accusing Iran of violating the ceasefire. Overnight,